Welcome back to AU Family Channel, and thank you so much for being here. It truly means the world to have you as one of our loyal listeners. If our stories have ever touched your heart, we are so grateful that you keep coming back to spend this time with us. So find somewhere comfortable, take a slow, deep breath, and let us begin today's story, together.
When I was 16, I laughed at a man for cleaning up a mess that I had made on purpose. His name was Mr. Ray, and to my entire school, he was furniture. A gray uniform, pushing a mop bucket, a punchline, a nobody. I did not know that the man I was laughing at had once designed bridges that thousands of people crossed every single day. I did not know why he had taken the lowest paying job in the building, or what he had lost to end up there. And I did not know that he was quietly rescuing kids like me with money he could not spare. This is the story of the janitor everyone ignored. Our school was a long brick building with 3 floors and a smell of floor wax that never went away. Mr. Ray was part of that building the way the radiators were part of it. He was maybe 60, with white stubble and a gray collared shirt with his name stitched over the pocket in blue thread. He walked slowly. He carried a ring of keys that jingled, so you always heard him coming before you saw him. And in 4 years, I never once asked him a single question about himself. Not one. He was not a person to me. He was a sound in the hallway. The jokes were constant. Somebody started calling him Ray of Sunshine because he never smiled much, and that stuck. Boys would knock a bin over on purpose and say, "Do not worry, Ray will get it." Somebody would spill a drink in the cafeteria and just walk away from it, laughing, because that was his job, right? That was what he was for. He would come with the yellow bucket and the ringer and the wet floor sign, and he would kneel down on the tile at 60 years old and clean it up while we ate our lunch and did not lower our voices. I want to be honest here, because this story does not work if I am not. I was not the ringleader. I was worse than that. I was the guy who laughed. I was the audience that made it fun. And one day in October, my friend Dylan dared me to knock a whole tray of chips onto the floor and just leave. And I did it. I looked right at Mr. Ray while I did it. He was 10 feet away. And he did not say anything. He just looked at the floor. And then he went and got the broom. My friends thought that was the funniest thing all year. Here is what I noticed later, and it still turns my stomach. Mr. Ray said good morning to every single student, every single day. He stood by the main doors at 7:45 with a coffee and a dented thermos and said good morning as we came through. Nobody answered him. Hundreds of us walking past a man saying good morning, and we said nothing back. He never stopped saying it. 4 years, every morning. I walked past that man over 600 times, and I never once answered him. I think about that more than almost anything else in my life. The thing that changed everything was, of all things, a detention. In November, I threw a paper plane across the classroom and hit our history teacher in the back of the head. It was not even funny. Mr. Corbin gave me a week of after-school detention, which meant staying until 5:30 in an empty building, and my mother took my phone for a month on top of it. I remember being furious about it. I remember thinking it was the worst week of my life. That week is the reason I am the person I am today, and I would not trade it for anything. An empty school is a strange place. All the noise drains out of it, and you can hear the lights buzzing. It was raining that first evening, that steady gray rain that makes the windows go blurry, and I was walking to the side exit at 5:30 when I heard the keys. I did not want to talk to him, so I stopped near the corner and waited for him to pass. But he did not pass. He turned into the boys' bathroom near the stairwell, and I heard water running, and then nothing. So I looked, and what I saw stopped me cold. Somebody had written on the wall in thick black marker. It said, "Ray is a joke," in letters a foot tall, and underneath it something much worse that I will not repeat. And Mr. Ray was on his knees on that bathroom floor with a rag and a bottle of solvent, scrubbing it off. Slowly, carefully, without any anger at all, the way you would clean up after a little kid. And then he sat back on his heels, and he took his glasses off, and he pressed his hand over his eyes for a long moment. And I stood in that doorway, and I understood, for the first time, that he could hear us. He had always been able to hear us. I did the coward thing. I backed away quietly, and I went home. But I could not eat that night. The next afternoon, I went to the supply closet under the stairs, and I knocked. And when he opened it, I said something stupid like, "Do you need help?" He looked at me for about 5 seconds. Then he handed me a rag. We cleaned the second floor windows together, and he did not ask me why I was there, and I did not tell him. And at 4 o'clock, he opened a drawer in that closet and took out 2 granola bars and gave me one. That drawer was full. 40 or 50 granola bars, boxes of crackers, apples, little cartons of juice. It looked like a shop. And I laughed and said, "What is all this? Are you hungry?" And he said, "No. Some of the kids come in without breakfast. They will not go to the office and ask, because then everyone knows. So they come here instead. It is easier to take something from the janitor. Nobody watches the janitor." And he said it like it was the most ordinary thing in the world, like keeping food for hungry teenagers was just part of mopping the floor. I kept coming back. I told my friends I still had detention, which was a lie, because I did not want them to know I was hanging around with Ray of Sunshine. And on the 4th day, I noticed the thing that unlocked everything. At the end of every night, Mr. Ray went to the 2nd floor east hallway to locker number 142, and he polished it. Just that one. He wiped the door and the vent and the little dial with a soft cloth until it shone, and every other locker on that wall was dull gray and covered in fingerprints. Just that one. Every night. So I asked him. I said, "Why do you always clean that one?" And he stopped. And he stood there for a while with the cloth in his hand. And then he said, "That was my daughter's locker. Her name was Nora. She was 17. She died on the 12th of March, 4 years before I ever set foot in that school. Her car went off Kelso Road in the rain on a Tuesday night and hit the guardrail, and she never came home. And Mr. Ray, standing in an empty hallway at 5 in the evening with a rag in his hand, told me all of it in the calmest voice I have ever heard. He told me she was loud. That was the word he used. She was loud, and she was terrible at maths, and she ran the school newspaper, and she sang in the car with the windows down. He told me she used to slam that locker with her hip because the latch stuck, and the sound of it used to carry all the way down the hall, and he could still hear it. He said the school called her a bright light. He said he did not want a bright light. He wanted his kid back. And then he wiped the locker one more time and picked up the bucket and kept working because that was what he did. His wife was named Delia. She got sick 14 months after Nora died, and Mr. Ray sat by her bed for a year, and then she was gone too. He said it plainly, without any drama in it, the way people talk about things they have already cried out. In 2 years, he lost his daughter and his wife, and the whole shape of his life. He said the house got so quiet that he could hear the fridge from the front step. He said he could not stay in it. He said he needed somewhere to go in the morning, and it could not just be anywhere. Because here is the part that broke me. Before all of it, Mr. Ray was an engineer. Raymond Ellison, structural engineering, 31 years. He designed bridges. He designed the Holloway overpass, the one I crossed on the bus twice a day, every day of my life, without ever looking at it once. He designed a footbridge over the river that half this town takes to the markets on Saturday. This man built things that hold thousands of people in the air, and we made him kneel on a cafeteria floor to pick up chips that I dropped for a laugh. He built the road I rode to school on to make fun of him. He said he could not do the work anymore. He said you cannot design a bridge when your hands shake, and you cannot hold a number in your head for more than 10 seconds. He said grief made him unsafe, and unsafe engineers get people killed, so he stopped. And then a year later, he saw an advert for a caretaker at Nora's school, and he took it. He took it because he wanted to be in the building where she was happiest. He said, she was here every day for 3 years, and she loved it. If I clean these floors, I am still doing something for her. This is as close as I can get. There was one more thing, and I only found it out by accident. I was in the front office in January, and Mrs. Alvarez was sorting envelopes, and one had Nora Fund written on it in blue pen. I asked her what it was, and she went very still and said, "You did not hear it from me." For 4 years, somebody had been paying for kids, camp fees, exam fees, bus passes, a pair of school shoes for a boy in year 8 whose soles had come off. Every year, in cash and an envelope with no name on it. Mrs. Alvarez said the money always came the week after payday. She said she had never told a soul. A janitor's wage. That is what he was living on. And he was giving it away to children who called him a joke behind his back. He paid for a girl in my year to go on the science camp she cried about missing, and she never knew. And she was one of the ones who called him Ray of Sunshine. He was funding the education of the kids who mocked him out of the pocket of the job he took to stay near his dead daughter. And he had made an office worker swear not to say his name. That is who we were laughing at. That is the man. So I stopped hiding it. The next day, I sat with him at lunch, in the open, at a table in the middle of the room, and I could feel the whole cafeteria looking. Dylan asked me what I was doing. I said I was eating lunch with my friend. And that was the first time in my life I ever used the word friend out loud about someone 45 years older than me. And it was the truest thing I had ever said. He started tutoring me in maths in that supply closet with a drafting pencil on the back of old inventory sheets. My marks went from a fail to a B+ in one term. And people noticed. Kids started saying good morning back. Not everyone, but a few. Then more. And then in April, I went to Mrs. Alvarez and to Mr. Corbin, and I told them the whole thing, and I asked for one assembly. 10 minutes. That was all. It took me 6 weeks and about 20 conversations, and I had to get 140 students to keep a secret, which I did not think was possible. But they did. Every single one of them kept it. I think they wanted a way to fix something, and nobody had ever handed them one before. On the last Friday in May, we told Mr. Ray there was a spill in the main hall. He came in with his bucket and the wet floor sign in his gray shirt with the blue thread at 10 past 11 in the morning, and the entire school was sitting in that hall waiting for him. 900 people. And when he walked through the door, every single student stood up. Nobody cheered at first. They just stood. And he stopped dead in the doorway with the bucket in his hand, and he looked around like he had walked into the wrong room, like it could not possibly be for him. Mr. Corbin read out his full name: Raymond Ellison, structural engineer, 31 years, designer of the Holloway Overpass, father of Nora Ellison, class of that year, who used to slam locker 142 down the second floor hall. And then the hall came apart. 900 kids screaming and clapping and stamping on the floor for 6 straight minutes. And I watched a man who had been invisible for 4 years set down his bucket and cover his face with both hands and cry in front of the whole school. They put a brass plate on locker 142 that summer. It says, "Nora was here, and so is her dad." Here is what I learned, and I would give a lot to have learned it sooner. Dignity is not the same thing as status. We act like they are the same. We decide how much respect a person gets by the uniform they wear and the money they make and how impressive their job sounds at a dinner table. And we are wrong every single time. Mr. Ray was exactly the same man on his knees with a rag as he was standing over a set of drawings for a bridge. The only thing that changed was us. He was never small. We just decided to look at him that way. The people who clean up after you are people. That is the whole lesson. The man emptying your bin has a daughter's name in his chest. The woman wiping your table has a life you know nothing about, full of things you would not survive. You are surrounded every day by people you have decided are background, and every one of them is the main character of a story as big as yours. It costs you nothing to say good morning. It costs you nothing to learn a name. And the man I ignored for 4 years was the best man in that entire building, and I almost never found out. Thank you so much for watching this story all the way to the end. It truly means the world to me that you stayed. If Mr. Ray's story moved you, please give this video a like and subscribe to AU Family Channel, where a brand new story is waiting for you every single week. And remember, dignity is not the same as status, and the people who clean up after you are people. I will see you in the next one.